Welcome back, foodies! Today, we have a treat for you that's both visually stunning and incredibly delicious. We're going to dive into the magical world of macarons. In this video, we'll learn how to make these delicate French treats step by step. So grab your apron and let's get started. Before we begin, let's quickly go over the ingredients. You'll need 1 3/4 cups of powdered sugar, 1 cup of almond flour, 3 large egg whites, at room temperature, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, food coloring, optional, your choice of flavored filling, e.g., buttercream, ganache, jam. The first step in creating perfect macarons is to prepare the dry ingredients. In a clean and dry mixing bowl, we'll combine the powdered sugar and almond flour. It's important to ensure that both ingredients are lump-free and well incorporated. To achieve this, you can either use a whisk or a sieve to break up any clumps. Take your whisk or sieve and gently pass it through the powdered sugar and almond flour mixture, making sure to cover all areas. This process not only removes any lumps but also helps to aerate the mixture, resulting in lighter macarons. As you sift, you'll notice the mixture becoming finer and smoother. Once you're satisfied with the texture and there are no remaining lumps, transfer the sifted mixture into another bowl. This step is crucial for separating any impurities and achieving a smooth macaron shell. It ensures that our macarons will have a delicate and consistent texture. Set the bowl of sifted dry ingredients aside, and now we're ready to move on to the next step. By taking the time to properly prepare the dry ingredients, we're setting the foundation for the perfect macarons, ensuring that they have the right consistency and texture. Remember, attention to detail is key when it comes to macaron making. Taking the extra step to sift the dry ingredients may seem small, but it can make a significant difference in the final outcome of your macarons. With the dry ingredients prepared and set aside, we can proceed to the next exciting step in our macaron making adventure. Next, it's time to whip the egg whites. In a separate clean bowl, add the room temperature egg whites. Start beating them on low speed until they become frothy. Then, gradually increase the speed to medium. Once the egg whites form soft peaks, slowly add the granulated sugar, a tablespoon at a time. Continue beating until the mixture reaches stiff peaks. You'll know it's ready when you can turn the bowl upside down without the mixture sliding out. At this point, you can add a few drops of food coloring to give your macarons a lovely hue. Gently fold the color into the meringue mixture until it's evenly distributed. Be careful not to overmix, as it could deflate the egg whites. Now, it's time to incorporate the dry ingredients. Gradually add the sifted powdered sugar and almond flour mixture to the meringue. Using a spatula, fold the dry ingredients into the meringue in a gentle motion called macaronage. This process helps to achieve the desired smooth consistency. Once the batter is well combined, transfer it into a piping bag fitted with a round tip. On a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, pipe small circles, about 1.5 inches in diameter, leaving some space between each shell. To ensure smooth macaron shells, gently tap the baking sheet against the counter to release any trapped air bubbles. This step will help prevent cracks during baking. Now comes the crucial part of macaron making, allowing the piped shells to rest. This step is essential for achieving those iconic, perfect macaron shells. After piping the batter onto the baking sheet, it's important to let the macarons sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes. During this resting period, something magical happens. The piped macaron shells develop a thin, smooth, and shiny layer on top, known as the foot. The foot is the distinct ruffled edge that forms at the base of each macaron, giving it that signature appearance. As the macarons rest, the outer surface of the shells begins to dry out slowly. This drying process creates a protective barrier that keeps the rising steam from escaping too quickly during baking. The trapped steam then causes the macarons to rise and expand, forming the coveted foot. Not only does the resting period contribute to the macaron's appearance, but it also plays a crucial role in achieving the ideal texture. The shells need time to develop a thin, dry crust on the surface while keeping the interior soft and chewy. This contrast between the crisp shell and the tender center is what makes macarons so delightful to bite into. While the macarons are resting, it's important to keep them away from any drafts or excessive humidity. These factors can affect the drying process and lead to inconsistent results. So, find a suitable spot in your kitchen, away from open windows or steamy cooking activities, where the macarons can rest undisturbed. After the resting period, you'll notice that the macarons have a more stable structure and a smooth, shiny surface. They are now ready to go into the oven and begin the baking process, which will transform them into the delectable treats we all know and love. So, be patient during this crucial step and let the macarons rest. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Now, on to the next exciting phase, the baking process. We've patiently allowed our macarons to rest, and now it's time for the exciting baking process. This step will bring our macarons to life, turning them into delicate, colorful confections. Preheat your oven to 300 Fahrenheit. While the oven is preheating, let's prepare our baking sheet. Line it with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat to prevent the macarons from sticking. Carefully transfer the rested macaron shells onto the prepared baking sheet, spacing them out evenly. This allows for proper air circulation and ensures that the macarons will bake uniformly. Now, it's time to pop the macarons into the preheated oven. Bake them for approximately 17 minutes, but keep a close eye on them as baking times may vary depending on your oven. You're looking for the macarons to develop a firm, crisp exterior while retaining their soft, chewy interior. Once the baking time is up, remove the macarons from the oven and let them cool completely on the baking sheet. This cooling process is crucial to ensure that the macarons firm up and are easy to remove from the parchment paper without breaking. As the macarons cool, you'll notice that the foot becomes more defined and the flavors meld together, creating a harmonious taste experience. It's tempting, but resist the urge to sample them right away. Give them some time to cool and set. After the macarons have cooled, carefully peel them off the parchment paper or baking mat. If they stick a little, gently lift them with a spatula or use a small offset spatula to release them from the surface. Now, it's time to assemble our macarons. Pair up macaron shells of similar size and shape. Take one shell and pipe or spoon your desired filling onto its flat side. You can use various fillings, such as buttercream, ganache, or jam, to add different flavors and textures to your macarons. Once filled, gently press the matching shell on top, creating a sandwich effect. Repeat this process for the remaining macaron shells. And there you have it, the beautiful and delicious macarons you've worked so hard to create. Take a moment to admire your creations before sharing them with friends, family, or indulging in a well-deserved treat for yourself. Remember, macarons are best enjoyed within a day or two of making them, as their texture and flavor are at their peak during this time. Store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator to maintain their freshness. Now, it's time to savor the fruits of your labor. Bite into a macaron and experience the delicate crunch of the shell followed by the luscious filling. Let the flavors dance on your palate and transport you to a world of sweet bliss. Congratulations on mastering the art of macaron making. Get creative, experiment with flavors, and continue to perfect your technique. Happy baking!